Hello everyone. School starts in Crowley ISD on September the 8th, and we're excited about providing virtual learning for all of our students. In this video, we'll talk about the life of a secondary student, and we'll walk through the life of Latoya, who's learning virtually in Crowley ISD. Mr. Keith, our Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction, is here to talk us through the day. He'll walk us through what Latoya will experience as a secondary student in Crowley ISD.
Thank you, Dr. McFarland. So at the secondary level, we're excited to give students a mix of live and independent learning and also follow their campus schedule. So we put together a brief instructional video to walk folks through a secondary schedule for Latoya. So we can go ahead and take a look at that right now. Let's follow Latoya, a secondary student, through a day of virtual learning. So just as an overview, students at the secondary level, middle school and high school, have a mix of live and independent learning, and they follow their campus bell schedule with a multiple period day. There are advisory and office hours for students in need of additional support. This schedule provides students with the opportunity to take hybrid or in-person only courses, and that might include select CTE courses where students need to come on campus to use specialized equipment, and some fine arts courses. And it also simplifies the transition for students as if they choose to move between virtual and face-to-face learning. So let's say that Latoya is in 7th grade, but this schedule follows for a middle school or a high school student, regardless of grade level. And so there's two different ways to look at Latoya's schedule. And so the first thing we'll do is look at her period 1 class, which is English, throughout the week. So keep in mind, any green block is live instruction. And keep in mind that live instruction is that synchronous real-time interaction with the teacher via Zoom. And the blue blocks are independent. And that's work that Latoya can do that's self-paced and may include some pre-recorded teacher instruction. So during period 1 on Monday, this is a live English lesson. So Latoya logs on, goes into Google Classroom, and joins her teacher via a Zoom link. And there's a focused live lesson with a Crowley ISD teacher. Then there's possibly 15 to 20 minutes of student work time with the teacher available for support. And then this may include a teacher check at the end of class using Pear Deck to assess Latoya's progress and see whether or not she understands the material from that day. You can see on the schedule that Tuesday is also a live lesson, so it would follow a similar structure. But when we move to Wednesday, we see that this English class will be independent. So this could include a 3 to 5 minute pre-recorded lesson video, then self-paced student work in an assigned platform, and then Latoya may submit work through Google Classroom by the end of the day. On a day where that work is independent, this work can be completed at any time. It doesn't have to be completed during the first period of the day. And so that's taking a look across the week at Latoya's schedule, but let's take a look at Latoya's day. So if we take a look at Monday, we see that English is a live class, her first elective is independent, and her third period class is a live class. And as you go through Latoya's day, you'll see that there is a mix of live and independent work. And if we expand this to look at Monday and Tuesday, you'll notice anywhere that there is an arrow, the class that was either live or independent on Monday is now the opposite on Tuesday. So as Latoya goes through her week, there is variety in what she does during virtual learning. They're not just all live classes, and they're not just all independent classes. And so as we expand this back out and we look at the entire week, we can see that Latoya has a mix of classes, a mix of independent and live instruction throughout the week. So overall, this is the general structure of a secondary student's schedule during virtual learning. Each campus follows a slightly different bell schedule, so the times may be different, but the structure of a multiple period day with live and independent lessons is what secondary students can expect when they engage in virtual learning.
So let's talk more about Fridays. We know that Fridays will look different than the rest of the week, so talk to us a little bit about that, Mr. Keith.
So on Fridays at the secondary level, those will be entirely independent days for most classes. Okay. So that means that through that day, students will be able to work at their own pace,
And also their teachers will be available for extended office hours in the morning if those students need additional support. So really we think it's a nice balance between the live instruction going on during the week and those independent opportunities on Friday.
Awesome, awesome. Sounds great, sounds great. So let's say LaToya is in athletics, band, or even a CTE course. How would that schedule look?
So if we take a look at a schedule for LaToya that has all of those things, let's say that she's in CTE and she's in band. Her CTE course may take up periods 1 and 2 at the beginning of the day. Some of those days may be live, so she'll be on Zoom with her CTE teacher. Some of those days may be independent, so she may be doing some independent work on her own. And 1 or 2 of those days may be on-campus days within the course of a few weeks. So some CTE courses will be offered as a hybrid model when students need to use specialized equipment. So LaToya's schedule will look different for CTE week to week with that blend of live, independent, and on campus. And then she would go through her day. Her core courses would be available 100% virtually online. But let's say that she's chosen to do band. She would be able to come up to the school building for that 4th period band class and participate live in band every day, and then return home to continue her live or independent learning according to her schedule.
Awesome, awesome. Sounds great. So talk to us more about what technology platforms will be used at the secondary level. We know that virtual learning is going to rely heavily on technology. So talk to us a little bit more about technology and the platforms that we're using.
So we're really building our virtual learning strategy with 3 core tools that teachers will use. The first will be Google Classroom. That's the central hub for everything that teachers and students do. We use that in the spring, and we'll continue to use it here in the fall. It's very simple to use, very simple to join, and that's where students will come each day to get their assignments. We're also using a product called Edgenuity, and what Edgenuity does is it gives students a chance to receive both pre-recorded instruction from a teacher as well as practice independently and online. And then finally, we'll be using a tool called Pear Deck. What Pear Deck does is it allows a teacher to present live from their computer. Students log in and join a session, and as they go, students answer questions that are posed by the teacher, and the teacher gets those answers back in real time. So it's easy to see where students need additional support and where a teacher may have to shift in their instruction just a bit in order to make sure students get what they need.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Well, you know, I'm a parent, you're a parent, and I know many of you out there are parents, grandparents, and caregivers. And what we want you to know is that in Crowley ISD, we're going to do what we can to help you as we enter this new space, this virtual learning space. Again, we're excited and we'll be with you every step of the way.
So be sure to watch our video overviews of Pear Deck and Google Classroom, and we'll also be offering live online Parent University courses on both of these platforms in the coming weeks.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Keith, and also thank you, parents, for allowing us to work with your children. We look forward to serving them as we return to school on September 8th.